2 hours prior to dusk, you guys meet at the the hanged man.
All right.
Plim was
Before
already
this,
there in his
yeah,
blanket, trying to be as inconspicuous as possible.
My character will actually look find Maximilian
yeah,
and talk to him to the side. Okay, so I was a bit evasive earlier.
yeah. You don't say. I didn't really get anything, but she'll manage them probably. So
All right.
don't worry about it.
And I do want you to know, and this is not a warning type of thing, we did, at one time, when we were nearly the same age, have something, but that's no longer there. She has moved on. I know I know you have some type of feeling for her.
You should have told me.
Maximilian, I had no problem with you having feelings and for that, and I needed to know where we still stood. So if there was a chance that I had nothing and you had something, I did not want to be in the way of her happiness.
Well, okay, this is really awkward. Thank you.
I'm being very forward. It's something
Uh,
It's something we've been trying more and more.
Perhaps I'm not very. Perhaps I can't unleash in ways. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. I'll try and think of that. Should we get something to eat?
Yes, I just want to make you guys for that. Please do not feel awkward about that. I want her to be happy, and if you want to pursue something, please do. Get to know her. Oh, and she's allergic to chocolate.
Whoa.
Do not buy her
That's actually very
chocolates.
helpful.
Yes, do not buy her chocolates. You mentioned that earlier. Do not buy her chocolates.
All right. Thank you, Gunail.
Of course, my friend.
You, by the way, at this point, Vicious Vic is also in the tavern, and he is leading a corner in some revelrous singing right now. Revelous drinking singing. You can't really understand what he's saying. It's all garbled.
Well, this
This
is
Dwarvish accent is too thick.
this is not really my kind of place.
Jody, who is sitting at the table there, oh, do you think we should move somewhere else?
I'm sure I can manage. I'm more of a well, I like my place is a little bit quieter, perhaps a bit more, you know,
Quieter.
fancy. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm used in the circle. I'm used to it being a lot quieter. Yes, she says.
Yes.
Nathan raises up his hand at the barmaid, and he says, "Around to all of my friends, please." And the barmaid will bring out drinks.
Oh.
Well, I guess it can't hurt.
I like this guy, Plim says as he pats Nathan on the back.
Well, I'm glad you're having a good time, Plim. You deserve it.
Vicious Vic comes up to you, and he, for whatever reason, he has two drumsticks in his ears, like wedged in his ears. He comes up to you guys and says, "Come on, guys, loosen up. Join us in a round of singing. I'm sure you have the voice of an angel." He points over at Maximilian.
I'm not sure I should be up there.
Pulls a wing from his ear and starts chomping. Come on, It'll be fun. You could use some fun. You could use some fun. And he's wagging the drumstick at you.
This is the strangest sight I've seen today.
Jody is like covering her mouth and she's trying to stop herself from giggling.
Wow. Wow. I just. Oh,
I'll order some food for the table. I'll be right back.
Ah,
I just stick with my drink for now. Thank you very much, Vic.
you guys. And he turns back and goes over to the rest of the people in the corner. Anything going on before the services?
Probably was going to sit down after ordering some food next to Delwyn.
Okay.
Or-
Doan would be late to the party because he's looking through Lowtown right now for a specific Templar.
Ah.
Okay.
Alright, so I guess he'd sit with Nathan and talk with him because he hasn't done a lot of that.
Delwyn, I'll deal with Delwyn. Delwyn, you're going around Lowtown, and are you looking for a Templar specifically? Is that what you're asking?
A feisty red-headed Templar who was last
Yeah.
They'll
seen.
tell you that he was last seen going towards the alienage.
Huh. Of course, that's where I'll head.
Wait, did we not see Liam when we were at the alienage?
No,
Apparently?
he wasn't there yet.
Hmm.
You guys left. He wasn't there yet. You head towards the alienage, and you finally see Liam.
This should be good.
He is not in the alienage. He is right outside of the alienage. And he's just looking towards it. Not saying anything to anyone. People are passing by, trying not to pay him any mind. A lot of them probably just assume he's a Templar from the circle in Kirkwall.
Just kind of walks up beside him without saying anything.
He turns to you and he looks at you and then he sighs. Why do you keep following me?
You're assuming I'm following you. I had family here.
He doesn't respond.
Don't blame you for not going in. I bet you they'd maul you senseless.
I have no interest in going back in. I have no reason to go in there.
Mm.
Why are you standing here watching?
I originally was on my way over to the Chantry, but I decided to stop here first. Have to admit, what you said to me last night got me thinking. A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the need to come here, that's all.
He just kind of ponders for a minute. You know, back, well, maybe less than a month for me, but probably 20 years for you now. Simpler times, but, you know, I don't hate you.
He looks surprised when you say that. If I were you, I would.
Well, you're not me, and you're probably thanking your maker for that. But, you know, growing up, you dogged me at pretty much every turn.
I had to. I was doing my job. May I remind you, your sister was also doing hers.
I'm aware. But I don't hate you for doing your job. We I guess I'll have a place in this crazy world, if you want to call it that. Fact of the matter is you kept my life interesting.
He swallows. And for a moment he doesn't say anything. It seems like he's debating. It looks like he's picking his next words very carefully. Finally he says, Orzammar. She's in Orzammar.
Huh. Why do you feel compelled to tell me that?
I felt I owed it to you. I apparently took one family away from you. The best. I guess it was only fitting for me to try to put one back.
Nice.
You know, and he kind of just slams a hand down on his shoulder. Different circumstances, we probably would have been friends.
Don't push it, he says. And he says that with but he doesn't say that with disdain. He says that, with a little bit of a slight grin. Don't push it, he says.
Different circumstances, different circumstances.
Now it reminds me of Fenris. Sorry.
So, I take it
Mage
you're not
hating.
coming to the hangman?
He shakes his head. I feel the need to pray. I'll be going to the chantry.
Fair enough.
He says, there's no one who is giving me any orders now. So for the time being, I have no reason to chase after you. Ironically, it seems like you're the one who's trying to stay close to me.
Yeah. Funny how things work out.
Yes, the Maker works in very mysterious ways. And he's got a very twisted sense of humor, too.
You know I don't believe that crap.
To each their own, he says.
It's weird, but what are you gonna do? Although, if you feel the need to come here, maybe you should stop by the circle.
I may.
Might be a woman there that could use an apology.
Ah. Perhaps, he says.
Not guilting you, just saying. If you want to pray or have peace of mind, you could do that. Well, you don't have to. Whatever. It's cool.
He nods, and it looks like he's taking what you're saying into consideration. And without saying another word, he turns and leaves.
Talk. Just talk.
May I just say, out of character, this entire time I was almost convinced Liam was going to die in the Mage Tower. So I'm really liking where this is going, because I did not intend for him to survive the Mage Tower.
Nice.
So this is completely not what I intended. So
Nice.
I like it. All right.
Redemption story.
All right. So now you make your way over to where you used to live in Lowtown.
Yep.
Okay. The place that you you arrive just outside of your house. It's more of an apartment than a house, like townhouse apartment like. It's a rather dirty, even dirtier than like the surrounding streets are dirtier than you remember it to be. However, the house doesn't look like it's been run down. it appears like somebody has been living there, at least been taking care of the house enough so that it clearly looks like it's hasn't just been sitting there abandoned. So somebody's there.
Yes.
Okay?
Right. It's actually because obviously knocking on the door is just going to lead to really weird, awkward situations, or at least another awkward, forced conversation. Because we already saw what happened the last time I knocked on the door of someone, and that person was my sister. Imagine with a complete stranger. So I think I'm actually going to put my rogue skills to use. I'm going to see if I can actually sort of like do the completely perfectly fine alternative of stalking my old place of residence.
Okay, so what exactly are you planning on doing?
Doing the thing they do in all the movies where they just kind of peer in through windows and things,
All right.
try and be inconspicuous.
Why
So I
don't
gotta do
you...
stealth.
Yes, why don't you roll me, stealth. Oh,
There it goes. There
wow. Okay.
it goes. Okay.
So, yeah, you stealth around, peer through the windows. You do everything, like, you will do everything except for, I'm assuming, breaking and entering. I'm assuming. You're not going to do that, or are you
Not
doing
breaking
that?
and entering, just creep around, look in, not
Reconnaissance.
actually in. Reconnaissance,
Okay.
yeah.
You look around. It's not nearly as nicely decorated as your mom had it decorated. It's very devoid of furniture. The old, very mundane, cheap furniture. Only the essentials like a bed and a chair or two and a table. But other than that, there's nothing inviting on the walls. There's no, it's just the bare essentials. Whoever is living here looks like he's either living in poverty or he's just really cheap, or both. But there you don't see any sign of anyone inside the house. However, you do suddenly hear someone approaching, so you hide yourself behind the stairs leading up to the house.
Yes.
And a elderly looking man, probably in his, I would say, 50s, probably no older than 60. I would say within his somewhere between 50 and 60 years of age. It looks like he has a small paper bag of groceries, and he's walking up to the house. You've never seen this man before. I don't think you recognize him at all. And he's unlocking the door into his house. And if you allow him, he's just going to go inside and lock the door behind him. If you wish, you can continue spying.
I'm going to continue spying.
Okay. You continue watching him. He's unpacking his groceries. He then falls back onto the chair. Looks like he's exhausted from doing whatever it is he was doing besides grocery shopping. He then gets up, goes over to the fireplace. There's a small fireplace, and on the mantle are these photographs. He takes one of the photographs and he's looking at the picture of a woman who is probably in her late 20s. I would say late 20s. Early 30s, probably. Again, I don't think you would recognize who that person is, but at this point, he will sit back on the chair, looking at the picture, places it on the table next to him, starts to rub his eyes. He looks very tired, and it looks like he's starting to doze off. Actually, probably what he'll end up doing is he'll end up pulling out something from a bottle from the paper bag, and he opens up. It looks like a bottle of whiskey or some sort of alcoholic beverages. He pours himself a drink, gives himself a shot. Pours himself another drink, gives himself another shot. He'll pretty much continue this until it looks like he's starting to feel a bit drowsy. Eventually, he's going to fall asleep if you allow him to. I don't know if you're going to be doing anything while you're watching him. Pretty much, he is not really doing anything out of the ordinary other than starting to get himself really drunk.
I don't. I don't know if there'd be anything that perhaps was left there when, like, in between the time of my parents leaving there and him moving in.
I don't think you see anything familiar that used to belong to your parents.
I mean, like anything that would have been like tucked away that someone would not have known. I don't know.
Well, I think
I hate
that
I hate to break it ever with absolutely no
I think
possibility of
I
payoff.
yes, I think that you did know that your parents did used to have a loose floorboard in your house where they did keep valuables underneath. Um, so yes, there's a small plank that your father and mom used to use to stash things.
And I would probably very much be running through my head of wanting to get that before anyone such as this old drunkard might
Mm-hmm.
come across.
Mm-hmm. Well, he is getting rather sleepy.
And drunk, so and plus he's old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna fight the guy. That would be horrifically one-sided, but he'd be easy to just like sit down in a corner, just stay there type of deal. So let's go for it. Let's begin.
Okay.
That would be the part where
If you're gonna break in, you're gonna have to do some lock picking for me.
I have lockpicks.
Yep.
This would be the point where we would see the close up of Lealden's eyes just narrowing as he now like is entering that mindset after a while.
Okay. Go ahead. Go for it. You manage to unlock it very carefully, looking around, constantly making sure nobody's spotting you, and you were able to
Pulling up the
successfully.
cloak again if it wasn't already up.
Yes, that's a good idea. You were able to successfully open the door. It creaks slightly, but the snoring that you're hearing from the gentleman on this chair is greatly drowning out the creakiness of the door.
Okay. Shut it very carefully behind me.
You shut it very carefully. You can smell the smoldering embers in the fireplace. Yeah, there's nothing else really of interest immediately in the house right this moment. You look over at the picture of the woman that you don't recognize. Meanwhile, the character, the gentleman is starting to talk in his sleep as drool like is pouring down his lip there. Says, "Oh, Leandra. Oh, Leandra." Anyone who's watching out at home, yes, that it is Leandra, the Leandra that you are thinking about. This man is Uncle Gamlin. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, this is Uncle Gamlin.
Gotcha.
So, anyway, go ahead, continue, Logan. Lealden.
Yes. I'm sort of again. I'm just climbing back into that rogue mindset. It's been a while, but I'm starting to all of a sudden fall into almost like muscle memory of looking around. Back in my mind, I'm thinking I never thought I would ever have to do this in my own, what I remembered as my own house, but nevertheless makes it even more easier since I remember the exact placement of or at least of every room and entryway,
Mm-hmm.
and in a typically much shorter amount of time than typically because I know the layout so well. I find the loose floorboard.
Okay. You are able to easily find the loose floorboard. If you wish to open it, you can certainly roll your die. Roll to stealth.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
I am going definitely just all out today.
Okay.
So
You
what
are.
were these rolls in the last session? Jeez. Anyway.
Yes.
So, board.
You open up the board.
Very.
You find the following items. It looks like whatever used to be in there was untouched. You find some of your mom's jewelry, very valuable jewelry, under there. It probably could be sold for a pretty penny, although sentimental value may be worth more to you. That's up to you, though. You find... I'm sorry?
Out of character, this is the most brilliant thing ever. See, I can hang on to the sentimental value, yes, but when I go back in time, she'll still have it.
That's
And
true.
so it would have been like, and then you turn a it's the best of both worlds, so I'm going to hang on to it.
All right.
Okay, back in character.
Yes. One in particular, was your mother's favorite. It's this brooch. It's this silver brooch in the shape of a rose, and the the rose itself is studded with little diamond flecks. It was a gift that that your father gave to your mother on their first year anniversary. He had worked very hard to acquire that for her. In addition to that, you find a short sword, a very nice looking short sword, actually. The last thing that you find under those floorboard is a small metal box. And yeah, a small metal box.
All right. Does the box have a decent enough opening to it? Like it's
Yeah.
not like locked or anything, right?
The box, it is a lock box, but again, you feel like you should be able to lockpick it.
Definitely can't see why not. So
Are you lockpicking it right there?
I'll carry it with me.
You're gonna carry it with you.
Because I just had an idea of what it could be, and what it could be it would be really lovely, but it could become a problem to any other nearby people if it is what I think it might be. So I'm going to pocket the box, the jewelry also as well.
As you are making, go ahead.
The necklace I'll put on as well under the shirt.
Oh, well, it's a brooch, but okay.
It's a brooch. Sorry, brooch. Putting it on basically to, in a sense, I guess.
Okay.
Hopefully keep it better
That's
on
fine.
it. Maybe
As-
wear jewelry too.
As you are making your way out, Uncle Gamlin, or Gamlin, not that you know his name,
Yes,
it starts to talk in his sleep again. It says, "Oh, Kane, I'll get the money to you. Okay, just it's taking a little longer. Just patience, Kane, please." Do you continue outside?
I take 50 silver
Mm-hmm.
and 1 gold piece,
Mm-hmm.
and I put it on the table
Okay.
quietly. Of course,
Cool.
not.
Yeah.
No.
I understand. You put it on the table next to him. All right. I think that more than makes up for breaking into his house.
Yes, and in a sense, and I guess as well for helping recover those things in my past.
Okay. Very cool.
And presuming that I put the board back where it was, it'll be as if I was never here.
Okay.
I'm going to make my way to the nearest bench-like area.
Okay.
They got benches. So,
Okay.
taking an eye around. I don't believe I see anyone watching, and I break out the lockpicks. Now we go for lockpick attempt number 2.
That'll be enough for you to unlock it.
All right.
Okay. So, you open the lockbox and you find the following items. You find most of the items are items that you had when you were an infant. Like baby items, you find your old blanket, you find some old clothing that you used to wear when you were very, very little. There are a few, not photographs, they don't have photographs, but they have essentially they have pictures of you as a child, as well as some pictures of you and your family members and your parents. But the last thing is a diary. You open the diary up. It appears to be a diary that didn't belong to you, didn't belong to your parents. It looks like it belonged to, it would be your mother's grandfather, your foster mother's grandfather.
Well, I'm probably going to read. Well, I'll probably skim. Not. I don't know if I have time to read the entirety of it,
Mm-hmm.
considering it is a diary of so far along a generation. But I suppose I'll. Would I find anything interesting in the writings?
If you skim through it, why don't you roll a research?
All right.
The first thing that you notice about the diary is that the last name, I don't think your parents really talked much about your grandfather.
Mhm.
They seem to it just never seemed to really be brought up. But one of the things that you noticed is that the last name of your foster mother's grandfather is Sunworth.
Hmm.
Roll me a cunning if that doesn't ring a bell to you.
No, I'm totally not. What I told? No, I totally wasn't immediately googling.
I don't think
Okay, you're not.
I don't think you're
You're
gonna
not
find it
gonna.
on Google.
No, but you're not gonna believe this. You ready?
Go ahead.
I went on Google and I looked up Dragon space age space Sunworth all in one word.
Oh, I think I know what you're saying. What you're gonna say?
And look at that little guy there.
Yes, that's very nice.
I don't know if that actually showed up. Did it?
Yes, it did.
Apparently, we're getting. No, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
I'm assuming that's because they countersign by the Sunworth as well.
Well, roll me a cunning.
Okay. Wait. I just now looked at the character things.
So what is it?
I know who that. They're. Oh my son. Oh, you cunning. Oh my gosh, you are good. Do I tell them?
Yeah.
Should I
Tell him what it is.
That's Maximilian's last name.
That's Maximilian's last name. Yep.
My foster family is related to the Maximilian's family.
Somehow related to the Sunworths. Assuming, I mean, who knows how many Sunworths there are in this world, but, you know, as coincidences go, that is quite a coincidence. You believe, though, with the 8 that there probably is interesting stuff in that diary, but you don't really have fumbling through it. You fully believe you need more time to sit down and read it more thoroughly.
Would I believe that maybe Max would like to have a look at this?
Probably. Currently, Max is not around, so
Correct. But when next I see him.
when next you see him might be a good time for you to talk with Max. So yes.
About this, right? All right. So.
Oh boy, we get to bond some more.
Yes. Oh boy, are they gonna have a? Do they know that I'm learning about this right now?
Nope, have no idea.
Yeah, I get that.
You have secrets that they don't know about. Yes.
Oh, that was
now you can,
until they see this video. Oh, crap.
now you get to drop the bomb.
Yes, and be like, Max.
So Max,
I.
looks like we actually are like brothers.
So remember they had that bromance thing. Well, funny story. I'm totally gonna bring it up like that. If at any point someone mentions bromance, and be like,
You need to
funny thing.
You need to do that in character too. So Max, about that bromance. As a canard.
I could take that bet or dare, whatever.
Okay, so that's something
Alright.
for you to ponder over. Maybe
Yes.
spend more time reading the diary later. We get to the hangman. Delwyn arrives late.
Delwyn, by this point,
Get some alcohol, joins Vic in some singing. Get things off his
you and
chest.
Vic are, yeah, you, Vic is
Arm
really
in
happy to
arm.
see you. Yes. I like you, he says. I like you, Elf. You're all right. Here's one on me. And he hands you a mug.
Thanks.
It's rather strong stuff, but he'll say, "Put some chest in your hair." Hair on your chest. Chest, you know what I mean, he says. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Well,
All right.
bottoms up.
I actually sit down next to Jody.
All
I think
right.
I'm sitting there already. So.
Are you, she said, are you, still not enjoying yourself, Maximilian? Because, again, we don't have to stay.
That's very considerate of you. Actually, there's one thing I'd like to ask you, if you don't mind.
Sure, she says.
I was thinking now when we're off the boat, tomorrow I was going to break my fast in one of the taverns, the quieter ones, and I wonder if you perhaps like to join me.
Sorry. I
You
imagine
know
you-
that I wanted to have another talk with you, just,
For,
just talk.
for breakfast, you said?
Yeah.
Sure. I would really like that.
Really?
I
whoa.
eat breakfast too. Yes, that sounds wonderful. It's so wonderful that you and I have, she says, it's so wonderful that you and I have that in common.
Oh, now when you say it like that, maybe I should have planned something else.
No, she says, it's been a while since I've actually had a real breakfast.
Oh, really? Oh,
Nathan's not the best of cooks, she says.
and I'm guessing, well, I didn't plan this that well because I don't really know any good places, but how about we just join up after we wake up and we can just wander around and see if we can find something that works for you?
That sounds good. Because between you and me, if Gwenaël ever told you, whenever I was in charge in the mess area, I wasn't really that great of a cook either.
Oh, yeah,
I believe Ray
Gwenaël.
said that before, out of character.
She burns everything.
She does burn
Everything.
everything.
If they had cereal on this temple, she'll burn cereal somehow.
Well, that's
I was
great.
coming to my fire spells. I'm sorry. That's what Jody would have said.
Anyways, by the way, they were having that conversation. I just kind of saw like Nathan and Gwenaël kind of looking over, like, oh, is this happening?
Yeah. Nathan, are you sitting next to Nathan?
Yeah.
He's got his arm around you.
So, it's pretty crowded in here, pretty loud. Do you wanna just head outside? Perhaps just do some talking where we can actually
Fresh air.
talk to each other.
Fresh air would do some good, yes. If you will excuse us, we'll just be right outside, she tells
Yeah.
Nathan. Nathan says, go on ahead. We'll see you at the services at least.
Yeah.
You go out back and, I mean, is there anything specific or you're just
Nah, just like
pleasantries?
talking in general.
Pleasantries.
Making a few jokes.
Yeah.
At least I'm trying.
Sounds good.
I'm pretty self-conscious at this point. I have
I
to.
almost want to suggest, do you want to make a roll? Because I'm curious what happened now.
I am. He knows he's not good looking with all the scars, and he's here with this beautiful woman, and he can't really. Yeah.
You
While
should
you're
roll. That's my suggestion. That'd be hilarious.
roll a seduction. Yeah, roll a seduction.
Seduction.
Maximilian, one thing I forgot to mention is with your armor and matching shield, I'm gonna give you an extra point in communication.
Oh.
An extra point in communication because of what you're wearing. Just looks so magnificent. It would be charisma, but you don't have a charisma, so it's just communication. So you get
Okay.
an extra 1 in communication right now.
I actually have 3 in that, so now
Okay.
when we have plus. Yeah, here we go.
Seduction.
And...
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're actually doing pretty well, and
Yeah.
you're not that awkward, but you can still be nervous. And at that point, Jody turns to you in the middle of the conversation and says, "Are you all right, Max? I can't help but feel like you seem a little nervous."
I have a question for you, actually.
Ask away.
I know that you and Gwinnale were an item before.
We were very close, and he expressed his love to me before anything could come of it. Yes,
Yes, and he's a very handsome man.
he is.
I
Are you asking for my permission to go after him?
Well, that was really not what I expected.
Because if you were, I think Nathan would have something to say about that. The way she's saying it, she's not. You can tell she's not being serious. She's smiling at you like she's making a joke.
Put off guard a bit.
Guardman's put off guard again.
That's
Sorry.
I don't think anyone ever actually made me laugh. For like
Sorry, she
40
says.
years.
One of the things I do when people are nervous or uncomfortable is I try to make them laugh. Helps loosen things up a bit. I can't help it.
Yeah.
It's just a force of habit.
Yeah, don't change.
Works
I
wonders
need
on
it.
Gwinnale, she says.
Sorry?
That's
Works
the Moby
wonders.
Jack.
Works wonders on Gwinnale.
Ah, I bet.
So anyway, you were saying. Sorry.
I'm not Gwinnale. I mean, I'm. Just look at me. I'm hideous.
I'm looking at you, she says. I don't think you're hideous.
I mean,
I have scars too. Do you want to see?
what?
We'll save that for another time, she says.
You're a remarkable woman. This is not going as planned at all. I thought you were just. I'm lost for words here. I haven't. I just. Help me out here, Jody. I don't know what to do.
Well, she says, we are just out here having friendly talk, and we'll just see where that takes us. Just enjoy it for what it is.
I like how you think.
No, she says, just no preconceived notions, no expectations. Just enjoy the now, because I'm telling you, with days like it is now, the way the world is, we never know if tomorrow will ever come. So you might as well enjoy the today and not worry about the tomorrow.
You're right, of course.
I grew up in the circle where the tomorrow was already decided for me. I already knew where I would be the next day, the day after that, the year after that, 10 years after that. And ever
And
since I
now?
left, who knows what's in store for us? It's scary. It's not as secure. But I would much rather have this than go back to where I was in the circle.
I know what you mean. I had a life without real purpose, and you know what the strange thing is? All this chaos, all this danger, this uncertainty. It's now that I actually found my purpose in this mayhem. I'm leading people. I'm doing good deeds, things I never did before. I found someone to share all my stories with, and this is.
And your scars aren't stopping you in the least bit in doing that, correct?
To tell the truth, I almost forgot about them. So thank you.
Oh,
Perhaps there's a reason for that. Perhaps it's because the scars, they don't really define who you are. They don't dictate what you become. And they certainly don't dictate how people perceive you, at least in the long run.
I've never heard anyone say that. I've had other lady companions, but they all.
Yeah, just nod and say I'm right. It's what Gwenail always does.
Whoa. Okay, Jody, you're absolutely right. Live in the moment.
There we
You
go.
never know what happens.
There we go, she says with a smile. Oh, she looks at the clock. There's like
Yes.
a clock tower. Says we should probably get going.
Indeed. Walk you there?
Of course. I should. I want to make sure that you don't get attacked on the way to the docks.
Oh, I feel more comfortable already. I extend my arm so she can.
She takes it, and
Yeah.
you guys stroll over to the docks.
I would go to the chantry and then to the funeral.
Okay. Well, he told you he'll be there at sundown.
Okay.
The funeral is happening just as the sun is pretty much at sundown. The funeral is happening at sundown immediately after.
Well, that I did not. I thought. I'll admit when I made this decision, I thought it was the reception of the funerals at sundown, not the actual service.
No, the actual service is at sundown.
I might as well go. Probably have to go to the bar to at least mention I might not make it.
That's fine.
So let's go to the bar.
You go to the bar. You tell them that you won't be able to make it. You tell a bunch of the crewmen are asking like, well, why not? Why aren't you coming?
I have some unfinished business to take care of. But
They all look a little
No.
disapproving at you, but they don't.
But know that it has nothing to do with if. Trying to like stumble over my words, trying to say that it's not that I did not appreciate the crewmen or that. Right, or yeah, just trying to say like, oh, I don't know. It's not that I don't like him or that I did not respect him. Just
Mhm.
This is one of those things where like I don't think I'll have this chance to resolve it.
The crewmen again aren't really happy to hear that you're not sticking around, but they're not going to make a huge fuss over it. So
Okay.
you end up saying your farewells for now, and then you leave and you head over to the chantry.
okay, that was really good.
Vicious Vic will have left the revelry early.
Hmm.
He will say, "Well, I gotta get going. Gotta get ready for the services." So he'll leave early. You guys can stick around for a little bit. When you arrive, you see that you arrive at the ship, and already draped along the sides of the ship are these black flags. And in front of the bow, there's like, I don't know what you call that, but there's like the figure at the front of the boat,
Right.
the statue at the front of the boat. It's now been wreathed with a wreath of flowers. And you see in the water, there's a raft with the same shroud. The body in the shroud is on this raft. And some of the crewmen, all the crewmen are already gathered around, and Cogs has flower petals that he's sort of tossing out into the water. All the crewmen are in black. Vicious Vic is in a black outfit that looks a little too tight for him. He looks very uncomfortable in it, but he's managing.
Hmm.
The captain, once everybody is gathered, she gets up and the whole thing is informal. I mean, they're not like in a church or anything. They're just out in the water, and she says, "Thank you very much for gathering, both old friends and new. We are here to send off one of our very own, one of our family. Radford was a great man. He always did what he could for the sake of the crew, for the sake of the ship, and for the sake of the family. These are very dark times, and unfortunately, we live in a time where death is far more frequent than it should be. But that does not make each one any less valuable. That does not make any life less valuable to celebrate. We are here because we wish to honor this man. We are here because he was someone that we cared for, someone that cared for us, someone that helped us survive amongst all odds. We hope that wherever he goes from here, he will find peace. We hope that wherever he goes, he will find comfort, happiness, joy, just like he did working with all of you. It saddens me greatly to see him go. But we will not dishonor him by stopping what we are doing around the ship, and that is taking care of each other and continuing to doing what we need to do to survive during the Blight and whatever comes after. If there is anyone who wishes to say a few words, you are welcome to do so." And she will step down, and anyone who wishes to come up can come up. Vic actually raises his hand. He actually will go up. So, I'm not very good at these kind of things. Normally, communicate better with my grenades than with my voice. But, Radford saved my life numerous times. And, it was he who first introduced me to this crew. It was him who put in a good word to me with the captain. I wasn't really completely happy with what I was doing with my life at the time. Sure, there were some things that I regret. Other things I have zero regrets for, but that's neither here nor there. I'm rambling, sorry. He takes out a handkerchief and he wipes his brow, like he's very nervous. You've definitely never seen... Normally, he seems so confident and, like, ready to be the center of tension, but this is, like, completely out of Victor's comfort zone. So he's in a very vulnerable position right now, which is interesting to see from him. Vicious Vic continues. Yeah, my days with Kane and I, it was, it definitely had its ups and downs. But, yeah, out of character, he just said Kane and him. Maybe you would have learned more if you brought Vicious Victor with you, but it's okay. I'm sure you'll have more opportunities later. But Lealden might perk up a little bit when he hears that. So anyway, Vicious Vic continues. But, Radford, old buddy, my life changed when you came into it, and I am so much happier now than I ever was. The cause that I have, my purpose in life, it's because of you, my friend, and for that, I'll be grateful. So, he pulls out a flask, pours it. This is for you, my friend. Takes a shot. And then he steps down. A few of the other crewmen give their accounts. And if none of the PCs want to say anything, then we'll continue on.
Actually, I'm gonna step up.
Okay. You'll
Oh my God.
be the last person. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No pressure, you're the last person.
What's his name? Radford?
Radford.
I did know Radford personally. I sat with him briefly during his last days, and when I looked into his eyes, I didn't see any fear. And that is very rare for someone so close to his final journey. And while he's gone, I can still see that courage that he had in all of you. And I'd like to thank you all for bringing me and my companions along on this dangerous journey. We could not have done this without you or without Bradford. So thank you, all of you.
All of the crew members are nodding, by the way, throughout your speech, and they seem very appreciative of it. With all of everyone saying what they needed to say, several of the crew members say thank you as you come down, Maximilian. And they cut the rope that was holding Radford's body to the dock. They cut the rope, and the body ends up floating away. And as it's floating away, you hear the cannons firing from the ship as a salute. The captain pulls off her hat, and all of the other crew members pull off their headwear as well, as they watch their friend go off into sea. There's a moment of silence, and the captain, after some moments, will place her hat back on, and she says, "Everyone in the crew is absolved of all chores and responsibilities for the rest of the evening. Feel free to stay as long as you wish. I will see you all tomorrow morning at breakfast. We leave right after and head for wherever it is these people wish for us to go." And she will leave. And there will be several crew members who will stay, and others will go up with her. Most of them are just going to stay and have some silent time to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Nice.
Is there anything else that's happening that I need to know about?
As she's getting ready to leave, Delwyn will pipe up and be like, Captain?
Yes, dear, she says.
Vic, I got you, you and the crew, something.
Are you handing it to both her and Vic?
Yeah.
Vic takes it and he unravels it, and it's a plaque, right?
Mm.
And what else? Is it just a plaque and something else?
Yeah, it's just the plaque.
Vic looks at the plaque, and then he sort of goes. He just starts breaking down. He like clutches the plaque and he just starts breaking down, and he's like sobbing like a little baby, and the captain is like patting him, and Vic is like pulls out his handkerchief and he blows into it, and he just lets it all out. Like, this poor man has been holding in this entire time, and he just breaks down crying, and the captain is patting him and trying to comfort him, and she turns back to Delwyn and she says, "Thank you very much," she says, We very greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No.
Oh, why? Oh, Radford! Oh, wow!
Oh, that's so
Um,
tragic.
Delwyn hands a little bouquet of flowers to the captain. I'll give you guys time to.
These are lovely, she says. Thank you very much. I appreciate the gifts, Delwyn. You are very sweet.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I have something to say now too after that. So during that, like, seeing them sitting away was I actually imagined that Gwinnell had went slowly for Nathan's hand and whatnot, and probably watched that and stuff, and probably would have watched the flower exchange thing.
You certainly heard. You heard Victor's reaction.
And then I was like, I looked at Nathan's like, I'll be right back. I need to speak with Delwyn real quickly.
Of course. We'll talk later this evening.
Yes. I'll see you around.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll meet you at your uncle's tonight for the late dinner.
Yes, I think Jody and I are heading over there right now before it gets too late.
Alright, I'll meet you there.
Okay.
Anyways. Delwyn, can we speak?
Oh. No. Yeah, sure.
So, that was very sweet. I saw what you did. It's very thoughtful.
Yeah, well, I'm not good with words, and you may look at me and think it's all about me and the captain, and but
I've never doubted that you were a good person. Maybe a bit of a jerk, but you're still a good person.
You may be the first and only person.
I don't think that's true. I just, like I said, don't think you've given people the chance. But that's not why I'm here. As you know, I have feelings for you.
I would say you made that pretty damn apparent, yes.
Yes. But I have been doing a lot of thinking lately, and though my feelings have not gone away, I'd rather not just continue to play this game anymore. I want to know, is there any chance?
So that's a lot to process.
Ultimatum. Bam.
I mean, that night you kind of just sprung it on me. I haven't really had a lot of time to think. I mean, we got thrust into this situation out of nowhere, and
Yes.
I avoid people. I spend a lot of time by myself, dodging in and out of everywhere.
Yes.
So, this working together, this, setting things right, it's all new to me. Everything's new to me.
I understand what that is like. I've been put in a place that would make me distant from people, and I just went with it. And in many ways, I saw a level of kindredness and that with you, but I saw so many other things that I admired so much. But I also see that there's I see there's I'm seeing more and more there's a true connection, and I ignored it before that I think you might have. I'm not sure if you know with the captain, but whether that goes somewhere or not is not important. So
She's nice, but I think the problem is the one thing we have in common. We both desire freedom too much. I can't can't imagine that woman wants to be tied down forever.
Yeah, that's the vibe that you've been getting from her this entire time.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, when you guys are not together, like she's
Yeah,
definitely
she's her own
she's
person.
the captain.
Yeah.
She's the captain during the day, and
Yeah.
I don't think she's distancing her from you like coldly. It's just, this is my position. I have a responsibility to my crew. That
Yeah,
comes first.
exactly.
Right.
And Dylan very much gives off the same vibe. Like
Right.
he's not a committed person. He doesn't
Right.
tie himself down to
So
anything.
even though you guys haven't discussed it, I think the understanding is
There's a mutual understanding
Yeah.
that this is what
This
we
is
have. It's no more than that.
no more than that. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Enjoying life.
So continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I know that you are both free of spirit, but that does not mean that you don't have anything special. Not all relationships work the same way.
No. But I think as far as we're concerned, we both just feel a need. Probably a temporary one at that. I mean, hell, if this time travel nonsense, turns out the way it does, we're not going to be around here for all eternity, so.
Oh, this guy. Oh.
Alright. Let's me propose something then. Grenell steps a bit closer. Let's just try something that I failed to do before and gauge how much there is there. You
Kinda
can
just
say no.
gives him a look like, care to elaborate? You lost me.
He stops for a moment, like, puts his hand on his head like this, and it's like, right now there's a lot of confusing things going on. A lot of things happening so quickly. And it's difficult, I understand that. But there's just one thing I need to do to know, to help me get a feel for what is actually going to happen here. And I apologize if this is not what you want. He goes in for the kiss again and whatnot. So,
Yeah, Dylan's completely caught off guard.
Here we go again. And into the
And
water.
not even caught off guard in the scramble backwards and fall off a bed situation, more like in the caught off guard that he's just kind of frozen there as it happens.
Okay.
anyways,
This is
I'm not sure if there's
weird.
anything I need to keep rolls.
Roll a seduction roll, please.
Okay.
Roll a seduction roll. We have to see how good the kiss was. I'm assuming you're a decent kisser.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
This is a very important roll. Okay.
Not terrible.
It's not terrible. It's average-ish.
There's a
little
little
bit
bit
more.
of nerves, kind
There's
of.
it's average-ish. There's a little bit above average. Average is an 11. So
Yeah.
it's not a bad kiss.
Mhm.
So what happens? Delwyn?
He gets kissed back.
Oh.
Okay. So you guys are about the same.
Yeah, it's kind of like he just freezes there for like what feels like an eternity for him, and then just kind of relaxes into it at that point.
Okay. But because
No.
of the off guard thing,
Yeah.
it probably wasn't as good as it could be. But yes, it's all right. Okay. So it doesn't look like neither of you were turned off by it.
Yeah.
So continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Good talk.
Good talk.
It's gonna be Delwyn's go-to awkward phrase.
Yeah, he says that a lot.
Okay.
Well, maybe we see how all this mess turns out. I mean, at the end of the day, we're probably going back to the same time anyway, right? I mean,
Yes.
maybe you get bored of the circle in Orlais. Maybe you want somebody to come bust you out. I don't know. We'll have to see how things go.
Yes. A lot is going on, like I said, but I think we're getting some clarity, but we won't know until it's over. A good feeling I've been getting today. Just keep going on the journey and enjoy the now.
Now you're getting it.
Yes.
Now you're getting it.
At this rate, Nathan will probably end up going after Leildin. At this rate.
Oh, he's a big hunk. So.
Romance is for everybody.
Yay!
Okay. So,
I
okay.
feel bad for Nathan, but it's like realistically, I just
You
trying to
haven't-
think of like what is that from him there and whatnot. So.
You haven't talked to him about it, so,
And yeah.
you haven't talked to him about it.